The door creaked open. A small girl stood frozen in the doorway, her eyes wide with fear and curiosity. Around her neck hung a delicate necklace, glinting faintly under the hallway light. Adam Al-Fayez, the Arab billionaire's son, paused mid-step, his sharp gaze fixed on the tiny pendant. His breath caught. He had seen countless treasures, jewels worth millions. But this was different. Where did you get that?" he whispered, the room suddenly feeling impossibly still. The girl's lips quivered. It belonged to my mom," she said softly. "She said it's very important." Adam's heart skipped, and for the first time, the world of wealth, power, and influence felt fragile. Something hidden, secret, and profound was about to unfold. 2 weeks earlier, London suburb. The rain fell lightly over the modest brick homes of East London. Adam Al-Fayez, 24, the only son of a global Arab billionaire empire, was driving through narrow streets in his sleek black sports car. London had always been his playground, but today he wasn't here for business. He had met Laila Thompson, a brilliant and kind young woman, at a charity gala weeks ago. She was different from the women who surrounded him, intelligent, grounded, and entirely unaware of his family name. Their connection had been instant. Today, she had invited him to her home. He hesitated only briefly. It was a far cry from the mansions he was used to, the polished estates with marble floors and gold accents. This was simple, real, and human. As he parked outside, he noticed a small girl playing near the doorstep. Her dark curls bounced as she skipped, unaware of the expensive car parked nearby. Something about her innocence made Adam's chest tighten. He knocked. Laila opened the door, smiling warmly, entirely at ease. "Adam, welcome," she said. "I hope it's not too much of a surprise." He stepped inside, greeted by the faint aroma of baked bread and lavender. The warmth of the home, the unpolished honesty of its walls, felt foreign, yet inviting. Then he noticed it, the necklace around the little girl's neck. A gold chain, simple but gleaming, with a tiny pendant engraved with symbols Adam recognized instantly. Adam's mind raced. That pendant was no ordinary trinket. It was part of a collection thought lost decades ago, a priceless heirloom tied to secrets he had never known existed within his own family. He forced his composure. "It's beautiful," he said carefully. "Where did you get it?" The little girl clutched it tighter. "Mom gave it to me. She said it keeps us safe." Adam's pulse quickened. Something was being hidden from him, something he wasn't meant to see yet. And that secret, tied to the necklace, was about to change everything. Adam's fingers hovered over the tiny gold pendant. It was delicate, almost fragile, but the engraving was unmistakable. The symbols matched the ones his father's advisors had once shown him in an old family ledger, an artifact lost during decades of internal family disputes, rumored to hold secrets about wealth, power, and betrayal. "Laila," he began cautiously, keeping his voice steady. "This pendant, it looks very familiar. Where exactly did your mom get it?" Layla's eyes widened slightly. I don't know exactly. She said it belonged to someone very important, a family she knew long ago. That's all she ever told me." Adam's brow furrowed. He had seen priceless treasures in palaces and boardrooms across Europe and the Middle East, but something about this one, it was different. Personal. Dangerous. Maybe. The little girl tugged at his sleeve. "He's pretty, isn't he?" she said innocently, pointing at Adam. Adam smiled softly, forcing a moment of normalcy. "Yes, he's very pretty," he murmured, but his mind raced. Why would this pendant end up here? Why was his father's family heirloom in a small London home, around the neck of a little girl whose mother seemed ordinary? Later that afternoon, a quiet park nearby. Adam walked with Laila and her daughter. The pendant glinted in the sunlight, and he couldn't take his eyes off it. "You seem worried about it," Laila said gently. "I didn't mean to cause trouble. I thought it was just a family keepsake." Adam shook his head. "No, you didn't. But sometimes, ordinary things hide extraordinary truths." Laila smiled faintly, but there was tension in her eyes. Extraordinary truths can be dangerous too. Adam realized she knew more than she let on, not maliciously, but protectively. She was guarding something important. That evening, Adam returns to his father's penthouse. His father, Sheikh Rashid Al-Fayez, a towering figure of influence and wealth, glanced up from a ledger of business contracts. "You seem preoccupied, Adam. Something on your mind?" Adam held the pendant carefully in his palm. "I found this today," he said quietly, "at Laila's home." Sheikh Rashid's eyes narrowed slightly, just enough to show recognition. "Where did she get that?" "I don't know yet," Adam admitted. "But it's part of the family collection, the one thought lost. There's a story here, father. And it could be dangerous." Sheikh Rashid stood, walking to the window, gazing at the London skyline. "Adam, some truths are buried for a reason. Sometimes, people protect others by keeping them hidden. But if you found it, you must follow where it leads. Carefully. And wisely." Adam felt a mixture of fear and determination. For the first time, the line between his world of privilege and the hidden, fragile truths of ordinary lives became sharply clear. That night, he returned to Laila's home, the pendant still in his pocket. Something about it called to him, a secret not just of wealth, but of history, of moral obligation, and perhaps even danger. Adam's mind raced. The symbols engraved on the pendant weren't just decorative, they were part of an ancient family cipher, one his father had mentioned only in passing, a secret designed to protect assets, identify true heirs, and guard against betrayal. He carefully studied the tiny markings, tracing them with his finger. Something about them matched documents he had seen in the family archives, now lost or hidden decades ago. Whoever had the pendant, whoever Laila's mother had interacted with, had knowledge that even he hadn't fully inherited yet. Adam returned quietly, careful not to alarm the little girl who was already asleep upstairs. Laila was in the kitchen, tension evident in her posture. "Adam, I need to tell you something," she said softly, avoiding his eyes. "My mother, she wasn't just a cleaner. She worked for people who knew your family years ago. She protected this pendant. She never wanted anyone to know it was still out there." Adam's pulse quickened. Protected it from whom? Laila looked away, fear and guilt intertwining in her gaze. "From people who would kill to get it. I don't fully understand it myself, but she trusted me with it. And now, you have to be careful too." Adam felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. The pendant was no longer just a curiosity, it was a key, a target, and a danger. Using his father's network, Adam traced the pendant's history. Each lead confirmed that it had been passed quietly through generations, often through servants and trusted associates. Whoever possessed it had been both protector and target. Adam also discovered subtle signs that someone was tracking Laila and her daughter, small, deliberate hints, a car following them, a faint shadow near their apartment. He realized immediately, the pendant had drawn attention. And now, they were in danger. Adam waited by a small fountain where he had arranged to meet Laila and her daughter. A sleek black car rolled past slowly, then turned and disappeared. "Adam," Layla's voice trembled. "I think they know we have it." Adam crouched to her level, placing a hand gently on the little girl's shoulder. "No one will harm you. I won't allow it." He felt the power of his family legacy coursing through him. Not the wealth, not the title, but the ability to protect, to act decisively, to enforce justice. "And if they come?" Laila whispered. Adam smiled faintly, a dangerous calm in his eyes. "Then they will see why the Al-Fayez name is not just about wealth. It's about loyalty, courage, and consequences." The city skyline glimmered behind them, a silent witness to the storm building in the shadows. The pendant around the little girl's neck wasn't just jewelry. It was a spark that could ignite hidden wars, expose secrets, and reveal truths no one expected. Adam Al-Fayez parked his sleek black car a block away from Layla's apartment. The streets were quiet, but his instincts told him something was wrong. Every shadow seemed to flicker with intent, every passerby a potential threat. The pendant around the little girl's neck had already drawn attention that could be dangerous. He stepped into the building, silent and deliberate, and found Laila waiting at the door, her face pale, eyes wide. "Adam, I saw a man outside," she whispered. "Watching. He hasn't left." Adam's gaze hardened. "Show me where." They moved to the apartment window together. Outside, a tall figure in a dark coat lingered near the streetlight, glancing occasionally toward the building. Adam recognized the signs: surveillance, professional and calculating. He turned to Laila. "We need to move. Now. The pendant isn't just an ornament. It's a key, and it's dangerous in the wrong hands." The little girl clung to Layla's hand, sensing the tension but not fully understanding. Adam crouched to her level. "You're safe with me," he said softly, but his eyes scanned every angle. "No one will touch you." Within minutes, Adam had secured them in the car, a black armored SUV he rarely used. Malik Idris, his father's former intelligence officer and trusted protector, was already en route with a secondary security team. The plan was simple: keep them out of sight, uncover who was behind this, and neutralize the threat. As they drove through the city, Adam asked quietly, "Laila, your mother, how did she get the pendant? Who else knows about it?" Laila bit her lip. "I don't know everything. She said it was entrusted to her to keep it safe from people who would kill to have it. I thought it was just family history, nothing dangerous. But now," she trailed off, her voice trembling. Adam's mind raced. The symbols on the pendant, the family history, the professional surveillance outside, this wasn't coincidence. Someone powerful, someone dangerous, wanted that key. And they were willing to cross lines to get it. Hours later, they arrived at a safe house on the outskirts of London. Adam had secured the location with cameras, silent alarms, and reinforced doors. Laila and the girl finally relaxed, exhaustion washing over them. Adam, however, could not rest. He studied the pendant again, tracing the engravings with his fingers. It was beautiful, intricate, and clearly significant beyond measure. His instincts told him the truth would be revealed soon, and when it was, it would change everything, not just for him, but for Laila, her daughter, and the family legacy he was tied to. That night, Adam stayed awake, reviewing every detail he could find: old family records, communications, travel logs. Each connection he uncovered hinted at a larger web of secrets, a hidden power struggle tied directly to the pendant. And the closer he got, the more dangerous it became. By morning, he had made a decision. He would confront the threat directly, uncover the truth behind the pendant, and ensure that no one could harm Laila or her daughter. His wealth and influence were tools, yes, but his real strength lay in his resolve to protect, to act, and to enforce justice without hesitation. As dawn broke over London, the city unaware of the storm quietly brewing, Adam glanced at the pendant one last time. "Tomorrow," he whispered, "we find the truth. And no one will stand in our way." Adam's mind was racing as he reviewed every piece of intelligence his team had gathered overnight. The pendant, a small golden chain with intricate engravings, was more than a family heirloom. It was a key to a fortune and secrets that certain powerful people were desperate to reclaim. By midday, Malik Idris reported via secure line, "Sir, our surveillance confirms that the man watching Layla's apartment yesterday is connected to a known syndicate. They're organized, well-funded, and ruthless. They'll strike soon if we don't act." Adam's jaw tightened. "We can't wait. Prepare a plan to confront them, strategically, not recklessly. I want Laila and her daughter completely protected." The armored SUV glided silently through a quiet industrial area. Adam's team had tracked the syndicate operative to a warehouse on the outskirts of the city. Adam stepped out first, confident, commanding. Malik and the security team flanked him, ready but discreet. Inside the warehouse, the man who had been following Laila waited. His expression changed from surprise to calculation when he saw Adam approach. "You don't know what you're holding," the man said, his voice low but dangerous. Adam's eyes narrowed. "On the contrary, I know exactly what I'm holding. And I know the consequences of threatening the innocent. Step closer, and you'll learn just how precise justice can be." The tension was electric. Every movement was deliberate. Adam exuded the calm authority that only someone born into wealth, trained in influence, and tempered by moral discipline could. The man smirked, reaching for a concealed weapon. Before he could act, Malik and two operatives moved with precision, disarming him instantly. Adam didn't need to raise his voice. His presence alone held the room in strict control. "You wanted this pendant," Adam said, holding it up. "You wanted to manipulate, steal, and threaten. But you misjudged the family, and you misjudged me." The operative, now subdued, glared at him. "This isn't over." Adam's gaze was icy. "For you, it is. Justice has a way of arriving when lies are exposed. Consider this your lesson." Adam drove Laila and her daughter back to the secure house. The little girl hugged him tightly, oblivious to the danger she had narrowly escaped. "You saved us," Laila whispered, her voice filled with awe and gratitude. I don't know how to thank you." Adam shook his head, smiling faintly. "Courage and honesty brought you here, Laila. I simply ensured that no harm came to you because of it. That's all the thanks I need." He looked at the pendant, now lying safely in his pocket. Its significance was clear, a link between past secrets and the present, between legacy and responsibility. The danger wasn't just about wealth, it was about protecting truth, family, and innocence. Adam sat alone, the city lights casting shadows across his face. He had neutralized the immediate threat, but the pendant's deeper secrets were still largely unknown. One thing was certain: power and wealth were meaningless without the courage to act morally, the wisdom to judge situations correctly, and the decisiveness to protect those who could not protect themselves. Laila, and her daughter were safe, and that was proof enough that influence and action, when guided by principle, could create justice even in a world where deception thrived. Adam whispered softly to himself, "We will uncover the rest, and no one will ever misuse this again." The dawn broke over London with a quiet brilliance, as if the city itself knew that a storm had passed and justice had been quietly restored. Adam Al-Fayez stood on the balcony of the safe house, holding the pendant in his hand. Its delicate gold chain glimmered, and the intricate engravings seemed almost alive, whispering secrets of the past. He had learned now that this small object held more than wealth, it held history, trust, and responsibility. Inside, Laila watched from the kitchen doorway, her daughter asleep upstairs. The relief on her face was palpable, but so was awe. Adam had done more than protect them physically, he had shown them the strength of integrity and the power of moral courage. "The pendant," Adam said quietly, almost to himself, "it's not just a piece of jewelry. It represents loyalty, protection, and the consequences of deception. And I will ensure it remains safe, with those who respect its meaning." Laila stepped closer. "Adam, I can't thank you enough. You risked everything for us." He shook his head, calm and measured. "I didn't risk anything. I acted because it was the right thing to do. Courage and honesty are far more valuable than fear or greed. Never forget that, Laila. That's the real power in this world." Outside, the city pulsed unaware, but within these walls, history had been preserved and innocence protected. Adam had confronted wealth, deception, and danger, not with violence alone, but with intelligence, restraint, and an unwavering moral compass. The Syndicate operative had been neutralized, evidence secured, and the pendant returned to safe custody, a symbol that even in a world driven by greed, truth, and justice could prevail. As the sun rose higher, Adam and Laila walked through the quiet streets, their steps measured but confident. The little girl skipped beside them, unaware of the peril she had narrowly escaped, but safe in the hands of someone who understood the gravity of responsibility. Adam glanced at the pendant one final time. "Some legacies aren't inherited through wealth," he said softly. "They're inherited through courage, integrity, and the willingness to protect what is right." Laila smiled faintly, understanding the weight of his words. "I'll remember that," she whispered. Adam nodded, his eyes scanning the horizon. He had proven that influence could be wielded with justice, that wealth without conscience was meaningless, and that true power was measured not in what you owned, but in what you safeguarded. And in that moment, the city seemed a little quieter, a little more honest, as if it recognized the lesson that had quietly been taught. Courage, truth, and moral authority always leave their mark. The pendant gleamed softly in his palm, a quiet reminder of battles fought, dangers overcome, and the enduring power of integrity. The little girl laughed, Laila exhaled in relief, and Adam felt a rare, deep satisfaction. The storm had passed, the threat neutralized, and the legacy of courage had been preserved. In a world where wealth often shields deception and charm masks danger, true power lies not in money, titles, or influence, but in the courage to act when truth and justice demand it. Adam Al-Fayez's choices remind us that protection of the innocent, the pursuit of honesty, and the exercise of moral authority define real leadership. The pendant, small and seemingly insignificant, symbolized the fragile yet enduring power of trust, courage, and responsibility. Laila's daughter, and countless others like her, are protected not by riches alone, but by those willing to act decisively and ethically in a world filled with shadows. Ultimately, the story teaches that true influence is measured not by what you can take, but by what you can protect. The boldness to confront danger, the restraint to act morally, and the wisdom to preserve truth above all else define the legacy of a life well lived. And in that legacy, Adam Al-Fayez found not just victory, but purpose, a testament that justice, courage, and integrity always endure.